Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill CDJR on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Time to make this the summer of Ram at the all-new Thornhill Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Visit them at the Fountain Place Mall to Logan or at thornhillcdjr.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly on Spring Street. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor, Virginia Street in Charleston. Visit bestmastertaylor.com. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Hope you had a chance to enjoy what was a beautiful weekend here in the Kanawha Valley. Coming up a little bit later on, Dianna Graves will join us. She is with the Republican Party here in Kanawha County, and they have a lot to celebrate. Republicans now outnumber the Democrats for the first time in Kanawha County in a long, long time. So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit with Dianna. Plus, they've about to open up their headquarters, so we're going to tell you all about that. Some sad news broke over the weekend with the death of Woody Woodrum. Woody Woodrum, of course, a longtime fixture with broadcasting at Marshall University, well over 50 years in some capacity with the university. Steve Cotton is the voice of the Thundering Herd, and he's going to join us to talk about Woody Woodrum and his passing, and what a great guy he was. I mean, I was very, very good friends with Woody and had done several projects with him in the past, and really hated to hear about that. So we're going to be joined by Steve Cotton to talk about that. Plus, tomorrow night is the big debates. Yeah, Trump and Harris will square off tomorrow down in Philadelphia. We'll try to get into that if we can. And your calls and texts are welcome, too, as always. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. I want to start this morning, though, by spending some time talking about the West Virginia Humanities Council. What is it? What do they do? And who's this big-time guest speaker that they're bringing to Charleston? Eric Waggoner is the executive director of the West Virginia Humanities Council, and he joins us now in the Par-Mar Store studio. Eric, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Dave. Thanks for having us.
So first of all, tell us exactly what is the Humanities Council. What do you do?
I will be glad to tell you. We are the official state affiliate of the National Endowment for the Humanities. That federal agency is our primary partner. And with the help of the National Endowment for the Humanities and some support from the state of West Virginia and our many wonderful members all around the state and beyond, our purposes is to provide public educational programs in the humanities. I'm talking about history, everything from national to regional and local. I'm talking about literature. I'm talking about even down to archaeology, legal studies, language studies, and so forth. I like to think of the humanities as all the things that we do to tell the story of our experience, whether that's a great big experience as a nation or a world, or it's a very local community experience. Wherever you're telling the story of an experience of people, you're doing the work of the humanities. And that's what we do every day of the year.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a big umbrella.
That's a big business card you got there, Eric. A business card's the size of poster paper,
Indeed,
I guess. But
yeah.
Explain what it is that you do.
We use the funding that we receive from the NEH and the state and from our members around. Our goal is to put, we're an independent, nonpartisan nonprofit. So we're not affiliated with the state. We're sort of our own entity, and our primary partner, as I said, is the NEH. We take the money that we receive through revenue, public and private, and we put that money back out into the state of West Virginia in the form of high-quality educational programming free of charge to the general public. Doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter where in the state or beyond. If you're looking at some of our digital programs, we want to deliver that content to West Virginians wherever they live and to folks all around outside of the state. The shorthand version that I like to use is we bring the world to West Virginia. That is, we bring top-quality humanities and educational programs to West Virginia, and we bring West Virginia to the world. We tell West Virginia's true stories, not the stereotypical stories, not the ones people think they know, not the negative stuff. But we talk honestly and specifically about the challenges and all the great and wonderful things that are happening here, as anybody who lives here knows. That's our mandate.
I'm very glad to hear you say that, because so often, Eric, we let other people tell our story for us. And, this is those that know that West Virginia is a state and we're not somewhere near Roanoke.
Yes.
But I mean, we have let other people for so many years, and I'm not turning this into political. I'm just saying it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's right.
We let so many people tell the story of West Virginia when, by God, we ought to be telling our own story.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows your story like you know it.
Absolutely. And that's, increasingly we've been looking for ways to to be the platform through which West Virginians can tell their own stories. One of my favorite ways that we can do that, and it's a really good example of the kind of thing we do, is working with local and county historical societies that, who knows better than the people in those communities what that history and what that contemporary culture is all about. So through our grant funding, we try and give support to programs that are going on in those communities. So if you've got a regional museum, or if you've got a county historical society or something like that, you're working on a project, write into the council. We have one phone number, get you to everybody in the building. All of our emails are right up there. Talk to us about grant funding. Let us see how we can support some of the things that are going on in these communities to celebrate their history and culture.
And let's bring it in a little closer to home. Again, we're talking with Eric Waggoner from the West Virginia Humanities Council. Give us an example of some things that have gone on here in the Kanawha Valley that people can actually look at and say, oh, okay, that was you guys.
One of our most popular programs, and it's really easy to do in the Valley, is History Alive. We have a living history presentation program. We have about a dozen presenters on the roster who can go. The great thing about this program, Dave, is that you can put it on anywhere you have little floor space. So this gets into the city and the state park systems. It gets into local schools. And we send presenters in to portray people from history, sometimes West Virginia history, sometimes broader than that. And they'll give about a half an hour presentation in that character, talking about their history and their life's work and so forth. Then there'll be a little Q&A session. When we go into school buildings, the kids always love this part. They get to ask the character questions, in character. And then the presenter will step out of character a little bit and talk to the kids about the research they've done for these historical figures. So we've got, as I said, some folks from West Virginia history. In the past, we've had everyone from, Minnie Pearl to Mark Twain to Harriet Tubman, big names from all around. Francis Pierpont. Some folks from West Virginia history and some folks from beyond, to really get in there and talk to the kids about the importance of knowing your state and local and cultural history. And
I love when things like that are portrayed for the kids in schools, because you can read it out of a book, you can read it on a computer screen or whatever, but when they see a character that comes in the full character and comes to life, as you mentioned, a Harriet Tubman or Mark Twain or somebody like that, it really I think it tells the story a little bit better.
There's no substitute for being in a room. I mean, that's one thing we found out during the COVID years, as you may remember, when nobody could get together. People, it was really, in a way, heartening. That may not be the right word given the context, but it was heartening, to see that the general public doesn't think of the humanities as a luxury. They think of it as a necessity. People love going out to cultural programs. They love their local museums. They love their local cultural initiatives in their hometowns. And the excitement with which people have come back together in person and in the room has been really wonderful to see coming out of the set of years that we had recently.
Indeed.
Folks love it.
9:15, Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by General Hardware of Winfield and Milton and General Lumber of Winfield. For all projects, big and small, shop locally. Visit generalhardwarewv.com. And you folks are bringing in a special guest next month. Is that right?
Yes. And this is, you talk about some things that are happening in the Valley. One of the things that we've done since the mid-'80s, 1985, I believe was the first year we did it, was the McCrite Lecture in the Humanities. That is a Charleston event, 100%. And we talk about bringing the world to West Virginia. That's the big sort of high-profile annual project that we have, where we bring in a national or an internationally renowned, it could be a scholar, it could be a filmmaker, it could be a writer, to talk about their work. Over the years, we've had Joyce Carol Oates, we've had Ken Burns, we've had Henry Louis Gates, we've had a variety of people from a variety of backgrounds in the humanities. This year, it would be tougher to name a hotter writer in the public mind, fiction writer, than Percival Everett. Percival Everett, if you saw the movie last year, American Fiction, it was out with Jeffrey Wright, he wrote the novel Erasure that movie was based on. And when that movie won the Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars earlier this year, Percival Everett became, as people often say, well, it's an overnight success. Nobody knew about him, and then the next day everybody did. Well, this overnight success has been coming for about 30 years.
Right,
Guy's written
as most do.
Upwards of 24 novels, But he is a really, really wonderful writer. I would say he's worked in a variety of backgrounds, but I would say a lot of what he does is he really sort of plugs in on parts of contemporary life and culture that people think of as kind of strange or absurd or bizarre. Or why does it have to be that way? Or isn't there a better way we can do it? And he's writing really a lot about in this new novel of his, James. He takes one of what I think is one of the really inarguably classic American novels, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. And if you recall that story, it's about a young, poor, uneducated white kid in the years leading up to the Civil War who was on the run with the enslaved man Jim, who's the second major character in that book. And Huck and Jim's relationship is it is a friendship. It is a very complicated friendship, as it has to be. There's a big difference in age. There's a difference in race, obviously, and so forth. But the two of them together, their flight from so-called civilization really puts them both on a path where their lives are changed inexorably. They come to know each other in a way that they could not simply being within the society that they both inhabit. They have to go on the run in order to do that. And this new novel by Percival Everett James takes that story and reimagines it from the perspective of Jim, who is a secondary character in the story of Huckleberry Finn. So Jim's story is not a story that Huck Finn could tell in the first person because he didn't live it, he didn't experience it. This book is really, I read it in a day the first time I read it. I absolutely could not put it down. It says so much about American history and American culture and American literature and all the stuff that really deeply involves us in an awareness of our own history and our own culture. It is an absolute knockout book, and we secured him really at the perfect moment. His star is rising, as they say. He's been the subject of profiles in the New Yorker, New York Times Book Review, Times Literary Supplement, just a variety of publications. He's having a cultural moment right now that is well-deserved, and we're very, very fortunate to have him in Charleston. And our McCrite Lecture every year takes place right here in the Metro Valley. That's one of our real hometown programs for sure.
And where and when will it be?
It's going to be at the Historic Capitol Theater on Summer Street. It is October 17, which is a Thursday. Doors at 7. The event begins at 7:30. That's right in line with Art Walk and Festifall are taking place. So we're looking for a lot of foot traffic.
And one of the reasons we're having you on early as well so people can plan for it, it is free to the public.
It is free to the public.
But you may want to go ahead and make plans on being there because it's not a huge building, right?
It's not a huge building. It seats just north of 400, I think, okay. The building seats. And it's a really great venue, beautiful venue if you've not been inside it. It's really, really well put together. And we're expecting a big crowd and just have really been fortunate to get him at a great moment in his long career.
Do people need to get tickets ahead of time? I mean, I know it's a free event, or do they just show up, or what?
We have never done any kind of reservations.
Okay.
We are looking at the possibility of setting something up formally, but we have not made any decisions yet. The way we have always done it in the past is we put the doors open and anybody who wants to come in can come in. We'll see. We love to do it that way. Mm-hmm. We'll see if we can keep it on that level for this upcoming event.
And it's October the 17th. At the Capitol Theater. Doors open at 7. Lecture starts at 7:30. Where can people learn more about it? Websites, social media? What do you got?
We're across the social media platforms. We're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. The main website is wvhumanities.org. O-R-G. All of our news is right there on the front page, and Percival Everett's going to be parked on the front page right up until the day of the event.
It should be this is a big get for Charleston.
It is a huge get for Charleston, absolutely. We're very fortunate.
It is. All right, Eric, I appreciate you being here. Eric Waggoner again with the West Virginia Humanities Council. The event, again, is coming up on October 17th. That's a Thursday night at the Capitol Theater downtown. Doors open at 7. The lecture starts at 7:30. Eric, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
Hang out with me 1 second here. 9:20, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Brightway Insurance, the Mays Agency. Spend time on your business, not your insurance. Brightway, the Mays Agency, can help explain the type of insurance you need based on your line of business, your location, and other important factors. They can select different insurance companies to make sure you're getting the right coverages and prices to protect your business. For more, visit BrightwayMays.com. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Coming up a little bit later on in the show, Steve Cotton, the voice of the Thundering Herd, with memories of Woody Woodrum, who we tragically lost over the weekend. And also coming up next, Dianna Graves with the Kanawha County Republican Party. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
Red, white, and vroom make this the summer of Jeep at Thornhill CDJR on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Take advantage of incredible savings with up to $3,250 off MSRP on new 2024 Jeep Gladiator Sport. Head to Thornhill CDJR US 119 in Logan today and see why we're the top choice for Jeep enthusiasts. Don't miss out. Your summer adventure starts on the Thornhill Motor Mile. It's red, white, and vroom at the all-new Thornhill Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Visit us at Fountain Place Mall next to Tractor Supply on US 119 in Logan or online at thornhillcdjr.com. Qualify for all offers through Stellantis Financial. See Thornhill for all details.
Welcome to Poca Valley, where we've been in business since 1908. Today, we serve Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties. We believe you deserve banking that provides friendly customer service. For all of your financial needs, stop by one of our 8 convenient locations. Call us at 844-782-2651 or visit us online at PocaValleyBank.com. Poca Valley, where relationships matter.
Member FDIC.
Ready to finance your next ride or refinance your current one? Members Choice WV is ready to help. Right now, during MCWV's limited time auto loan special, you can get rates as low as 3.99% APR with terms of up to 51 months. That's right, rates as low as 3.99% APR with terms up to 51 months on new and used autos and for financing or refinancing. Apply today at memberschoicewv.com. Loans are subject to credit approval. Additional restrictions may apply.
It is 9:23. Ryan Nicholson, our producer today. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond West Virginia. It's a valuable resource for all. Check out the latest episodes on WVMetronews.com and the podcast menu and start your journey towards better health today. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Steve Cotton, the voice of the Thundering Herd, is going to join us a little bit later on in the show, talking about the legacy of Woody Woodrum, a legend in the world of broadcasting at Marshall University, not just in broadcasting, but at Marshall in general. True treasure, and we lost him over the weekend. Steve Cotton's going to join us to talk about that. I want to welcome to the show Dianna Graves with the Kanawha County Republican Party. Good morning, Dianna. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dave. Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I know you're a busy person today, and you had to call us up on the road just to do so safely, which I'm sure you are.
Absolutely.
It's a good time to be a Republican in West Virginia, is it not?
I think it's always a good time to be a Republican. I enjoy being one when a lot of my fellow West Virginians also think the same way. Yeah.
And, you know, Dianna, most people think that Governor Justice is a shoo-in to be the next U.S. Senator, replacing Joe Manchin, who opted not to run. Same with Attorney General Patrick Morrisey, who is expected to, with all due respect to Steve Williams, is expected to defeat Steve Williams, the current Huntington mayor. This state is solidly red and getting redder seemingly by the minute, Dianna.
It is. You can consider it a pendulum swing. Of course, we were 83-something years pretty solidly Democrat, but West Virginians have always been a special breed of conservative. Democrat was the only option for a long time, but in the hearts of a lot of our people, they're fiscal conservatives. They're good, God-fearing, gun-loving, family-oriented people, and really, it's just over time they see that Washington especially has abandoned those values, and they've just come home to the Republican Party.
And that was going to kind of lead me to my next question. Why is it that now? I mean, you know, I'm old enough to remember when, and I've told this story on the air before, growing up as a kid in the 70s and 80s. And where I'm from in southern West Virginia, we didn't have enough Republicans to be poll workers, you know, as mandated because there just weren't any. The elections were effectively over in southern West Virginia in May with the May primary, other than maybe president or something like that. But your local elections, your House, your legislature, county commission, whatever, everybody was a Democrat. Now that is seemingly changing to the other side. You touched on this a little bit, but expound on it a little bit. Why do you think this message of the Republican Party continues to resonate so much with West Virginia voters?
Well, it's mostly in captured in what I said before. Mm-hmm. So West Virginia is just a different breed of Democrat. Even the Democrats, some of the Democrats that we still have, they haven't come yet to the Republican Party, but a lot of them in their hearts, they really hold to conservative values. And I think the schism that has been happening on the federal level, D.C., various prime metropolitan areas of the country, the progressives have taken over the Democrat Party and pushed it so far left that a lot of these people, they don't even recognize their party anymore. They feel abandoned. I'll go so far as to say I think they feel betrayed, and I don't blame them. So a lot of them feel that they have no recourse really, but to join a party where there are candidates that hold the same kind of values they do. And so they have just it's a very moral choice in a lot of cases. They have to switch because they're not going to betray who they are.
I want to, again, we're talking with Dianna Graves from the Kanawha County Republican Party. I want to talk about that switching parties thing because there has been a lot of people outside the elected world that have made the switch, but there are also a lot that were Democrats. I mentioned Jim Justice that switched Republican. There have been others that have in the legislature and on county levels and on municipal levels and whatever. I've heard from some in the Republican Party, though, that they are concerned that leopards don't change their spots, as one Republican once told me, and that you got to be aware that just because somebody has now an R after their name, that they may just be doing that just to get elected. Is this a concern with those in power in the Republican Party?
Well, yes, because we're not stupid. So, of course it's going to happen. You have people who... The ones that I have been talking about are people who are switching because of a moral imperative. But they're, of course, human beings without the best motives. They just want to win. They want to be in power. They want to be the ones making decisions. They're going to do whatever it takes to get there. And those are the people we have to fear the most because they're power hungry and they don't care what they have to sacrifice to get there. So I have been pushing the state GOP for a number of years now. When I ran for state GOP co-chair, one of my platform issues was we have to help the electorate determine between those who truly hold Republican conservative values and those who are wolves in sheep's clothing. And it's been difficult. You know, we want to have a great big tent, and I absolutely espouse that value, but I don't think that includes throwing every single candidate who has an R besides their name and holding them, you know, as though they're all the same value because they're quite different.
Well, we saw this before, you know, as you mentioned, and we've mentioned a couple times, Dianna, with the Democratic Party. I mean, when they were in power, let's take any decade, let's say the 1960s, for example, not every Democrat was the same. And it's the same now, I'm presuming, with Republicans. How, as somebody in a leadership position, as I said to you with the Republican Party in Kanawha County, how do you vet people? I guess. I mean, is it questionnaires? You just sit down and talk because you feel that it's your job to educate the electorate, and I completely get that. But how do you actually go about that?
So we in Kanawha took a kind of two-pronged approach. If you had legislative history, if you had a voting record, we didn't even send you a questionnaire. We're going to grade your votes. Which ones, how did you vote to uphold the values in the Republican Party platform when you had the chance to really exert your will? So we did a grading system for those. And quite honestly, some current legislators failed. And then for those who were seeking power for the first time, we did a questionnaire. Every single question was based in some meaningful way within the Republican Party platform. So we published their, if they got a certain score, they were listed as at least conservative. And then if they didn't, they were marked as not conservative. And so we're doing our part. If you can't trust the Republican Party of the state to help voters, figure out who has Republican values, who are you going to look to? What we found is that people were forced to listen to every single special interest group that sent a mailer to their house because they're desperately searching for information. We don't want that. We want somewhere for them to go to say, hey, I want to know what kind of values this candidate has. When they were in power, how did they vote? Did they really do what they said? Because campaign promises are very easy to give, and they're even easier to break.
Indeed. I'll agree with you on that. It's 28 minutes away from 10, talking to Dianna Graves, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Huston's Pizza, where this month, at your favorite Huston's, you can get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an 8-inch chocolate chip cookie, only $23.99. You folks in Kanawha County about to open up a headquarters, is that right? Dianna?
I'm sorry. Yes, I lost you for a second.
Okay.
What was your question?
About your headquarters. You're about to open up a headquarters in Kanawha County.
Yes, we did. We did open up.
Oh, you did open, okay.
At county headquarters. Yeah, it's at, you know where Budget Tapes and Records used to be?
I do, yes.
It's over there in Kanawha City. Almost everyone does. It's 3708 McCorkle Avenue Southeast. And we're open Monday through Friday from 10 to 6 p.m., and then on Saturday from 10 to 2. And I want to say, people are complacent because our majority is so big in this state. But I want to talk about Kanawha for just a moment. Mm-hmm. Kanawha is not a safe area. Kanawha and Monongalia County, we have some counties in West Virginia where every vote counts. And I want to encourage people to turn out to vote. Come by. If you're not even sure if you're registered, come by. We'll register you right on the spot. And I want to give some props to the former chair of the KCREC. Her name is Teresa Howell. She's running for House of Delegates. She's an incredible candidate. She was the former chair, and she really played a large role in flipping Kanawha red. So I want to make sure and mention her. She's an excellent conservative candidate, and I want her name out there.
We got a text here to the show. Somebody asked about, and I know this is something you get a lot, people wanting Trump signs. Do you have Donald Trump signs?
Oh, we sure do. Now, so if you go online, you can buy these things, but they're like $20, $25. I've seen them as much as $35 a pop. We want to get them out there, right? So ours are on sale for $5, and we absolutely have them at the headquarters.
Dianna, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I do appreciate you as I said, you're very busy, and I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here with us. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk again soon.
Wonderful. Thanks, Dave.
Dianna Graves again, former legislator, and she is now, I think, the head of the Kanawha County Republican Party. I believe that is her title. But either way, she's very involved with the Kanawha County Republican Party, and it is now a red county, which took a lot of people by surprise. In the heart of West Virginia, there exists a profound force that goes beyond the realm of sports, transcending limitations and fostering a sense of belonging. Talking about Special Olympics, a remarkable initiative showcased in the latest episode of West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington stands as a testament to the power of determination, unity, and unwavering support. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580WCHS. And speaking of the Special Olympics, within the hour, my man Steve Animal from our sister station 987 The Mountain, Wild and Wonderful Classic Rock. Any excuse to get out on a golf course, Steve is there. But he is going to be in Tays Valley over at Sleepy Hollow today with I think it's Huntington is actually sponsoring the Special Olympics golf tournament over there. It's a fundraiser for the Special Olympics. Steve's going to be hanging out there doing whatever it is Steve Animal does. And our broadcast is being sponsored by Peyton Law Firm. So big shout out to Harvey and Tom and all the folks at Peyton Law Firm. But again, if you're out and about today, it's a beautiful day. Even if you can't play golf, just stop in. Say hello to Steve. He'll be there from 10 to noon at Sleepy Hollow Golf Club in Tays Valley, raising money for Special Olympics. Biggly Piggly Wiggly Hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. Text says, Dave, just checked. Democrats are still the majority on the federal level, not even close and growing. Conservatives have done nothing for the middle class. Fact, says a text. Text says, one of the Republican values, love to hear this. Wait a minute, let me start this again. What are the Republican values? Love to hear this. It's not military. It's not Christian. Trump took care of that, says a texter. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Off night tonight for the Birds. They will wrap up their regular season with the 6-game road series against Gastonia tomorrow night. Tickets, merchandise, promotions, and more. Visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. We lost a good one over the weekend with the death of Woody Woodrum, longtime affiliated with Marshall University. We're going to talk to the voice of the Thundering Herd, Steve Cotton, about it, coming up right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
Planning for retirement? Stike Wealth Enhancement Group is here to help. Whether you're preparing to retire, already retired, or seeking advice, our experts guide you every step of the way. Imagine leaving a legacy that supports your children or even the Children's Hospital. With careful planning, you can enjoy your retirement and make a lasting impact. At Stike Wealth Enhancement Group, we help you achieve your financial goals and create a legacy that matters. Start planning today. Visit StikeWEG.com. Secure your future. Leave a legacy.
Securities and advisory service offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Summer is here, and if you're looking to replace that old worn-out car with a reliable and stylish ride without breaking the bank, then you need to get over to Walker Chevrolet in Nitro. Walker Chevrolet is stocked right now with inventory, both new and used, and they have the car, truck, or SUV that you've been looking for. And you know that you're going to get the best deal possible at Walker because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games here, just honest, fair deals. And if you have a car that you want to get rid of, don't forget, Walker Chevrolet is still buying cars too. Yeah, that's right. All makes and models are welcome in Walker, and they're going to give you top dollar for it, even if you plan to buy somewhere else. This summer, the car and the deal that you've been waiting for is waiting for you right now at Walker Chevrolet in the shadow of the Interstate Bridge, just off the Nitro exit of I-64. Walker Chevrolet, making friends one deal at a time.
"22 minutes away from 10. Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Rib Fest coming back to Charleston, Haddad Riverfront Park this Thursday through Sunday. Coming up tomorrow, I'll be talking to the organizer of Rib Fest. They did it in Huntington this past weekend, and they are in Charleston this weekend, starting Thursday through Sunday at Haddad Riverfront Park. Aaron Wood from Quantum will be on the show tomorrow to talk about it. Now, personal a little bit, I will be down there with our sister station 987 Mountain, along with Steve Animal this coming Saturday. Also, coming up on the show tomorrow, how you can recycle and help out the recovery movement in Charleston at the same time. We'll get into that into the show tomorrow. News broke over the weekend that a longtime fixture of Marshall University tragically and surprisingly passed away. Woody Woodrum, just an icon in Huntington for Marshall University in the world of broadcasting for well over 50 years. In fact, he had just had the call on the Huntington-Martinsburg game Friday night when a few hours later he passed away at home. Steve Cotton is the play-by-play guy for the Thundering Herd. Worked closely alongside Woody, and he joins us now. Steve, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, but, buddy, I wish it were under better circumstances.
Yeah, that's for sure. We were in the press box at Lane Stadium at Virginia Tech when the word spread, and that was, that's just the kick. And Woody was one of those guys who was so lively and was so gregarious and outgoing, and everywhere you were with him, you had that giant laugh. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, the realization you weren't going to hear that again was a tough one.
Just a great, great guy. And I know, Steve, when someone passes away, that people always say, well, hopefully they will anyway. They'll say, oh, he was a good guy, or he or she was such a good person, or whatever the case may be. But in the case of Woody Woodrum, I mean, just an all-around good dude.
Yes, and one who loved Marshall University. And Dave, probably you would be very hard-pressed to find somebody anywhere who spent more time thinking about and talking about this school than Woody did. 50 years from the time in 1974 he came to Huntington from Winfield as a Marshall student, and he had two distinct careers, Dave, and both of them go back to then because he took journalism classes, but he went to work in the equipment room as a student equipment manager, and when he graduated, that was his career. And it was a career that made a difference that is still seen today. People, because of what he's done for the last 20 years, may not realize that he was the equipment man at Marshall in the era when it went from a job where you do laundry and order shoes to it became known that how equipment could protect players. And specifically, the biggest thing is helmets and being properly fitted and new technology and preventing concussions and that. But all sorts, shoulder pads that are fitted properly can help prevent injuries as well. And he was Marshall's man in that era and realized and pushed for additional training and certifications and licensures. And, Dave, you hear in the world of sports about quarterback coaching trees like Mike Leach and the air raid offense, and you see where that spreads to. And in broadcasting, sportscasting, Syracuse, all those Syracuse alums who you have that tree. In the world of college football equipment, Woody is the godfather of a big tree. And just a couple of examples, you had Notre Dame's top equipment man for several years, just got out of the business. Ryan Grooms was a Marshall guy. Just last week at Virginia Tech, Eric Lewis is a Marshall guy, and you trace all of that back to Woody and the people who followed him, like Matt Lewis and Rich Warner and so on and so forth. But these guys are all over the country. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of their youngsters, Kyle Powers, a Marshall guy. So that was a long-lasting and significant contribution to the world of sports.
Along those lines, I just got a text from Bill Woodrum, who is a very good friend of mine and the brother of Woody. And I'll talk about Bill's statement a little bit later on. But he tells me that Woody actually designed the current M on the helmet for Jim Donnan.
Yes, and the list goes on and on and on with little things like that make a big – and again, unless someone like Bill knows the story and can pass it on, it's the sort of thing that people, even though who knew it at the time, may not remember, because then when the equipment job wore down his body and he couldn't do that anymore, he made the transition into writing and broadcasting sports for several years with us on the Thundering Herd Network, and that's where I got to know him well. So many road trips, rooming together, and so many laughs. And then even when the body again broke down a little more and he couldn't travel anymore, he still was a fixture at everything Marshall, at high school stuff around Huntington, and he made a difference in a second career on that side of things.
Talking to Steve Cotton again, the voice of the Thundering Herd, on the death of Woody Woodrum. I never met anyone who had a bad word to say about Woody. And in our business, the broadcasting side of it, but that's a rarity. It's a definite rarity.
Well, because he always, if he didn't have a smile on his face, it didn't last that way long. And he would bounce back and be happy. And Dave, we talked about his physical challenges as his life went on. A couple of years ago, he had a very significant illness and weren't sure he was going to make it through that. He ended up in a rehab facility across the river in South Point, Ohio. And I remember going over to visit him there. And that's a rough place. There's not a lot of laughter. I walked in the door, went to the front desk, was about to ask, all right, can you tell me what room Woody Woodrum's in? And I heard that laugh down the hallway. And I told the guy, nope, I got it. And I just followed the noise and was able to go visit him. And he bounced back from that and had a couple of more years hanging around sports in Huntington and at Marshall specifically. So, and you mentioned Bill. Bill works in economic development in the state of West Virginia. Another brother, Jim, and all these guys worked for Woody in the Marshall equipment room to get their start. Jim went on to a long career in sports marketing. Now he teaches sports marketing classes in the Brad Smith College of Business here at Marshall University. So the Woodrum family legacy is something that we all know about, and Woody was the one who got it all started. Indeed.
While I have you here, Steve, I would be remiss if I didn't at least talk a little bit about Marshall Thundering Herd football. They went down to Blacksburg on Saturday afternoon, and I don't think a whole lot of people expected them to win the game. I don't think they played all that badly. Your thoughts?
The defense stood tall and held Virginia Tech to 338 yards of total offense. A special teams play against Marshall was a difference maker. First Virginia Tech touchdown was on a punt return, but then the Marshall special teamers got that back by blocking a punt that went out of bounds at the 5-yard line, scored a touchdown. And then at the end of the game, you're trailing, so you have to go for it on fourth down a couple of times. Marshall had 2 long drives down into the red zone, including one to the 6-yard line. Couldn't settle for field goals at that point, had to go for it. Easily could have been a little bit closer. Now, Marshall knows it needs to get more done on offense than it was able to do in Blacksburg. Now, there's a bye week. You can go back to work specifically on yourself. But after the open date, a couple of weeks down the road, Marshall is at Ohio State. So there's another huge challenge in store next in line for Coach Charles Huff's team.
Oh, come on. How hard could it be to go to the Horseshoe and beat Ohio State?
Well, we'll find out now, won't we? That's what everybody said a couple of years ago with Marshall at Notre Dame.
I still remember that quite well. Hey, Steve, I know this was a difficult thing getting back to Woody Woodrum. I know it was difficult for you because you guys were very close. I'll leave you with a quick Woody Woodrum, and I've got plenty of Woody Woodrum stories, but I'll leave you with one of mine. 10 years ago, the city of Chapmanville in my native Logan County played host to the State Little League Baseball Tournament, and I was doing some more promotion-type stuff then. The city hired me and my company to, cheap plug for Dave Allen Communications, to come to kind of just put the whole thing on. You know, I mean, the on-field thing is one thing, but you gotta organize. Well, who's going to throw out the first pitch and who's going to do the national anthem and that sort of thing. So that's what they hired me to do. Basically, was to the entire production around the State Little League Baseball Tournament for a week in Chapmanville. And Woody was broadcasting one of the local teams from Huntington, Barbersville, somewhere down there. And he came down there, and the press box and this is at the Chapmanville Regional High School facility, which is a big, massive facility. Not the most easily accessible press box in the world. And as you said, even 10 years ago, Woody had some health issues, and I got the pleasure of carrying his cases for him up the I think it was like 2 flights of stairs to get to that press box. He was very appreciative of it, but I don't think at a couple of points I had to stop because he was saying things to make me laugh so loudly that I was like, Woody, do you want me to carry this or do you not? Because I can't carry your stuff and listen to you at the same time. That's who Woody Woodrum was.
That's true, and you know, over the last 2 days, you don't go a few minutes without thinking about Woody, and you're sad, but then a minute later, I've got a smile on my face, and that is a wonderful legacy for that man.
Indeed it is. Hey, Steve, I appreciate you being here. We will talk soon, buddy. Thanks a lot.
All right, Dave, have a good one.
Steve Cotton, the voice of the Thundering Herd on the loss of Woody Woodrum, one of the all-time just good guys. And as I said, in this broadcasting business that I've been a part of for 36 years, it's hard to find anybody that no one will say anything bad about. I mean, me included. But Woody was just one of the good guys. And I got a text, as I said, I'm very good friends with his brother Bill, and I got a text that asked if I could just say thank you to everyone from the Woodrum family. The outpouring of love for Woody and their family has been amazing and overwhelming. That's a text from Bill, the brother of Woody Woodrum. He will definitely, there's a giant hole in the Jewel City now at Marshall University first. And again, as Steve said, you know, starting in the equipment room, and then transitioning into broadcasting. And the last thing he did in the world of broadcasting on Friday night was he did the call of the Huntington-Martinsburg game. So he still had that love. What a guy. 10 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Poor indoor air quality can cause a variety of health issues like allergies, respiratory problems, and more. Pinnacle offers specialized indoor air quality services for residential, commercial, and industrial-type settings. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Are you changing jobs or gearing up for retirement? Don't navigate your financial journey alone. At 4th Avenue Financial, we specialize in guiding individuals through life's transitions. From optimizing your retirement savings to managing your investments, we're here to provide expert advice every step of the way. Schedule your free consultation with John Burdett and take control of your financial future today. 4thavenuefinancial.com.
Securities offered through Jenny B. Cole Financial Incorporated. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny B. Cole Advisors Incorporated.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
It's the West Virginia Outdoor and Gun Show, September 20th through the 22nd. Enjoy a huge selection of firearms, knives, boats, ATVs, hunting and fishing supplies, coins, and much more. Buy, sell, or trade, pre-owned guns and collectibles, everything related to hunting, plus a whole lot more. The West Virginia Outdoor and Gun Show at the South Charleston Rec Center, sponsored by Superstar Country 96.1 KWS, Caldwell Insurance, Poca Valley Bank, Spring Hill Rod and Gun, Charleston Gazette Mail, Quantum Sports, and J.B. McCuskey for Attorney General.
It is 7 away from 10 on a Monday morning. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show and 580 Live brought to you in part by Bridge Valley. If you're interested in improving your company's IT workforce, know that Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap. Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. They can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today. Hoppy coming up at 10:06 with Talkline. Chris Steyerwalt from News Nation on tomorrow's night's Trump-Harris debates. That's tomorrow night. More discussion on the whole Guardian cap thing, and this is the protective headgear that some people, including some people in some higher up positions, want all football players to wear. This is coming on the death of Ryan Craddock, the young man from Boone County, just a couple of weeks ago. I know State Senator Mike Stewart he's been on Hoppy talking about that and how those should be mandated for youth sports. Mike Stewart's going to join us later on in the week to talk about that very subject. I think he's on Wednesday's show, I think. Back to Hoppy for a moment. Ryan Schmelz of Fox News Radio on Congress being back in session. Brad Howell on the Mountaineer win over Albany this past Saturday, and a preview of the battle with 1-1 WVU against 2-0 Pitt this Saturday. Also, Leslie Rubin from Eyewitness News on the story of the Wolf of West Virginia. This guy, Teddy Miller. You may remember a couple of years ago when all of Charleston lost their collective minds over this guy. He fancied himself as an internet celebrity, real estate mogul, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now he's facing some big-time trouble with the feds, and Rubes has been all over it. She'll join Hoppy to talk about that. Put your calls and texts to Talkline with Hoppy from the Encova Insurance Studios in the Dale Miller Building in Morgantown, coming up at 10:06. Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Jute, the best in security systems for both your home or business. Talk to Jute, J-O-O-T, of Tays Valley. Visit protectedbyjute.com. Text says, Dave, talking about how far left the Democrats have gradually gone over the past few decades. These dangerous illegals, like the Venezuelan gangs in Aurora, Chicago, and Houston, are now in small towns. Check out the video from a city council meeting in Springfield, Ohio. Over 10,000 Haitian illegals were sent there by this administration, and one gentleman stated that children cannot go to the park because they've seen these illegals pick up some of the ducks by the neck, kill them, and walk away with them to cook and eat them. Wake up, people. This is getting very close to home, says a texter. Guns in America. The latest school shooting in Georgia last week. And I touched on this briefly because it was based on a text I got to the show, that the father of the shooter in that particular situation in Georgia from last week is being charged in a big-time second-degree murder, I think is what it was. The question on everyone's mind is, what do we do about it? And every time that there is either a school shooting or a mass shooting in a public place, we'll just kind of concentrate on school shootings now. People wring their hands and say, thoughts and prayers, what do we do about it? Now, I will state point blank, I'm a gun guy, and you will never, ever hear me blame the gun. I blame the person. But with this particular case, there were so many red flags with this shooter that went unchecked. You've heard the story now about the FBI being sent to the parents' house because of threats, a couple of years ago, and they found no credible evidence. The FBI comes back and says, hey, if the parents say he's okay and we talk to the kid and we don't see any sort of threat from him, imminent threat based on our interviews with him, what are we supposed to do? And I get that. I completely understand what they're saying. Now it's come out that the mother of the shooter actually called the school that day, warning them that something could happen. I'm like a lot of you. I bring things up on this show. I just have a different platform. I bring things up on the show, and I don't have answers to it because I don't know what the answer is to this. But I will say this, and this is direct from the Captain Obvious file. We got to do better, and I don't know what that better is. I may spend some time in a show in the next couple of days laying it out there to you as to what your answer is, because I seriously I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Tomorrow night, as I mentioned earlier, the first and perhaps only debate between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. We will have coverage of the debate here on WCHS starting tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I'll spend some time on Wednesday reviewing it, but I will say this going in, that no matter what happens, your candidate, the candidate of your choosing, will be the winner, because that's kind of where we are right now in America. Mark my words. If I were handicapping this thing, I would give the edge to Harris, because quite frankly, she is a much better speaker. She'll win on style points, and she's a prosecutor, but we'll totally withhold judgment on that, I guess, until we have the show on Wednesday after the debate. Again, our coverage of the debate will start tomorrow night via ABC Radio starting at 8 o'clock. Coming up on tomorrow's show, more on this weekend's Rib Fest and how you can recycle and at the same time help the recovery movement here in the Charleston area. Ryan Nicholson was my producer today. Thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow morning to do it all again. Download the all-new Metro News TV app and the WVRC Media app as well. Take us with you wherever you go. Hobby's coming up at 10:06 with Talkline. See you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.